What's up guys, Sean here. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys Emacs, the text editor, and I'm going to show you guys the features of Emacs. Now, this video is not a tutorial. I'm not going to teach you anything. I'm going to show you guys what Emacs can do. Now, as I said before, Emacs is a text editor. And if you go to their website here, you can see that it's a text editor. Now you might ask, why do I need a text editor? You might say you already have Notepad, or if you're on Linux, you may use another text editor. But Emacs is not a regular text editor. It has more features than your text editor probably has. So let's take a look at it. Now, this is my configured Emacs. And if I open a terminal and if I type in Emacs/q, Emacs-q, this will open up Emacs without any configuration. Now, this looks it doesn't look that good. And this is something that discourages new users from using Emacs. But if you don't want to spend I'll just show you my configuration. So it's in my .emacs.d file folder, .emacs.d and init.el. Now, this is my configuration file for Emacs. And I link this file in the description so you guys can check it out. Now, if you're not a big fan of configuring things by yourself and you want to use something that's already configured, you can use something like Spacemacs, which is a distribution of Emacs, or you can also use Do Emacs. Now, this totally is according to your preference. And for today's video, I'm going to use the regular Emacs. So now, first thing about Emacs. Everything in Emacs you can do with your keyboard. You don't even have to touch your mouse. So everything is either linked to the control key. Not everything, most of the things are either linked to the control key or the alt key. So for example, I can press control and P to go up, control and N to go down, and control F to move forward, control B to move backward, and then I can press control E to go to the end of the line, and control A to go to the beginning of the line. And there's a lot of other key bindings that you can use. So in for a text editor, Emacs is really good. And now I'm not here to talk about only the text editing part of Emacs. Emacs is a lot of other features. So now let's take a look at Direct. Now Direct is basically a file manager for Emacs, and I have set my key bindings in such a way that when I press Control X and Control J, it opens up Direct. So this opened up in the current directory where I'm in, which is .emacs.d, and this is actually a customized version. So all these icons and all, I have configured it in such a way that this appears, and you can do a lot of things. For example, now we can even open up folders. So let's see if I go to Etsy here, and it'll show me eShell, and I'll just go back again because there's nothing here, and then you can even open up other files. So I'll open up init.el again, and the direct can do a lot of things. You can even delete files. You can do whatever you want do in a normal file manager in direct, and that's all about direct. Now, talking about files, if I go to my desktop, so let me just change my directory to my desktop. I'll go to my desktop here and I'll open wallpaper.jpg here, and you can see that the image actually opened. So that's what I'm gonna say next. Emacs can also open up images. So here I have opened up images. I don't think Notepad can do that, and I don't think Notepad plus plus also can do that. Now I'm not completely sure about Notepad plus plus, but I'm sure that Notepad cannot do that. So that's another thing about Emacs. Emacs is not just a regular text editor. It can do many other things and other regular text editor doesn't do. So that's about the file image viewing of Emacs. Now the next thing I'm going to talk about is Maggot. So Maggot is basically a Git client for Git user interface for Emacs. So here, right now I'm in the desktop folder, and let me just change to my repos and website. So this is a Git repository. So now if I hit enter, it'll show me most of the details that I want. So it'll show me the recent commits here. If I press tab, it'll show me what it was. So this was the first commit, and I can close that here. And you can there's a lot of other options. So if I press the question mark now, it'll show me all these options here. So branch, clone, merge, pull, and all. So let's just try the pull command here. So let me just close this, and I'll hit the capital F key, and it'll give me another lot of options. So I'm gonna go with U here, and I'll press U, and it'll show me this, and it'll show me git pull is done. So that's this. Now whatever I show in this video is just a part of what you can do with Emacs, because I'm not going to go into a lot of details, because that's going to be, this video is going to be very long. So this is basically a short version of what Emacs can do. Now after my git, the next thing I want to talk about is EWW. Now EWW is a browser for Emacs. So let's type in EWW, and I'll hit enter, and it'll ask me to type a link. So we'll go to the Emacs website. So it's gnu.org/software slash Emacs, and I think it's this. So if you open that, this is what we see. So this is basically the Emacs website. Now let's again go to the Emacs website, and let's see here, software slash Emacs. And now if I do a side by side comparison, it doesn't look that good in EWW, but it's still enough for my uses. Or if you quickly want to open a link where there's not much images and just text, EWW is pretty good. And you can see the images and all render properly. The logo renders properly. This image loads renders properly. And I think some images are not here, but that's okay for me. And now finally we're going to talk about org mode. So if I open a file now, if I let me open a file in the desktop so you guys can see desktop, and I'm going to type in test.org here, and I'm going to open that. Now once this file loads, I can show you what the org mode can do. Now org mode is very powerful. Now if I press space here, and if I put a star and press space, that gives me a bullet point, and I can use this as a heading. Now this bullet point is configured for my needs, and for you guys, if you haven't configured Emacs, it'll be just be a star, and if I put 2 stars here, it'll become a second heading. If I put 3 stars, it'll become third heading. And I think there's a limit to how much headings you can how much bullet points you can put. I'm not sure how much it is. And so anyway, you can even make to-do lists in org mode. If I type here, if I put a point here, 3 points here, and if I put to do, you can see that the color changes. And if I type something there, and if I go forward, and if I press Control C and Control T, you can see that it becomes done. Now if you notice, for me it shows here closed, and it shows me the date of when I finish the task. And now this is, I configured according to my needs. For you guys, it might not be there. Now another thing in org mode is checklist. So now if I put a hyphen here, and if I put two brackets here, and if I type something, let's say checklist 1, if I go here, and if I press Control C, Control X, and Control B, you can see that the checklist works. And you can use this to create a complex list of maybe what all you want to do in a day. You can even make sub checklists, I guess that's what you call them. I can do this here, add two brackets here, and checklist 2. And if I press Control C, Control X, Control B again, that also gets done. And now I think there's a thing here where I can't. So if let's take this as a main task and this as a subtask. So I don't think that I can. Let me try that in front of you guys. So if I type this here, and if I type, I think I'll go a bit back, and if I type here checklist, if I type here checklist 3. Now if I try completing this task here, Control C, Control X, and Control B, you can see that nothing gets done. But I can individually do this here and here. Now, if I complete both these tasks only, the main task will get completed. So that's a really useful feature that you can use. And with that said, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, share. If you really enjoyed this video or if you got some value out of this video, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe. With that said, this is Sean signing off. See you in the next video.